Welcome back to The Good Father, the Really Good Podcast. I'm your host, Safari, back at it again. Um, Today, we're going to go ahead and continue discussion from our last video. This will be part two of child support. Basically, here we're going to discuss when you have to deal with child support services versus going through the court dealing with the judge or magistrate. Now, dealing with child support services is slightly different. This is more or less in a case where a parent's absent and one parent can't find the other. And so they're going to go ahead and find the parent, establish paternity, and then go ahead and have a hearing and establish support for the child. Now, let's take a step back here. In a situation, again, most likely, unfortunately, if you're going down this route, one or two things happen. Either the mother was vindictive, didn't want to work with you, and just wanted to do this out of spite, or you were an absent parent and you were gone, and mom couldn't find you or dad couldn't find you, and they had to contact the services to locate and find you to get you to pay. That's pretty much why you're going down this route. Those one of those two reasons. Now, understand that a part of the process is, like I said, is going to be establishing paternity. Now, with establishing paternity, that means that they're going to be doing a DNA test, blood test, swab, some kind of test to establish that, in fact, that you are the father biologically. Now, this usually goes for instances that the dad did not sign the birth certificate, or the mom wasn't sure who the dad was, or whatever the situation is. Dad didn't sign the birth certificate, so they need to establish paternity through a DNA test. As well as even in situations where dad did sign the birth certificate, but he doesn't believe he's the dad, so he wants to make sure for a fact. So they're going to first establish paternity, then they'll have a hearing, and then they're going to figure out as far as support for the kid. Now, I believe also during this hearing, most likely the mom's going to pretty much get custody because you weren't there. So understand that that's a part of it. Now, again, what to do? Now, I always tell everybody, whatever you do, make sure if you get a letter for a hearing or something like that, go to court. Go to court, go to court, go to court. Go to the hearing, go to the hearing, go to the hearing. If you don't go, you lose automatically. Whatever she says, whatever he says, is automatically what the judge is going to go off of. No matter if you have a valid reason why you shouldn't pay or should pay, whatever it may be. Regardless. Either way, understand that you have to go to the hearing because your voice has to be heard. If you don't, she can go in there and say that, yeah, last time she checked, you was making like $2,000 a month, and you're really only making $700 a month, and that can impact how much you pay. So again, I'm not saying she's gonna lie. What I'm saying is if you're not there to say or cooperate exactly what is what, you will be taken advantage of. So do go to court. Understand if you don't go, you will be taken advantage of. I never miss court. Never. There was one time I did miss, but it wasn't my fault. I was locked up. We'll get into that later. But anyway, understand when it comes to these hearings, the most important thing is go to court. Next, if there's already if you've already gone through the process and you missed it, and now there's child support established already, understanding the situation, you got to pay. Try to get it paid as quick as possible. But here's another thing to understand. You can also get the child support reduced. And the big secret to this is be active. Be in your child's life. Like, believe it or not, just being involved. Instead of just coming around on a birthday or a random holiday or a couple weeks in the summer. Be there every other week. One night over a week during the week. Be involved. That will impact your child support. Again, I can't stress it enough. You have to be active and involved in your child's life. If you think child support sucks, trust me, I understand. I know. I was paying $1,000 a month for my kids. For what? Except it was basically paying her rent. So again, and understand, yeah, child support. Understand. Let me say this as well. Remember, child support is for the children. Yes, we all know that he or she may use the money for themselves or whatever. It's not your concern. Your job is to provide, and as long as you provide, pretty much can't nobody say nothing bad about you. Unfortunately, we know what really happens in the real world, but understand that your job is to provide. You provide, you're in the game. But again, if you get to this point, I mean, I'm going to also post other videos. Understand, we'll post videos how to prevent this and how to put yourself in a position to, if you want to get custody, to get custody. If you want to get visitation, to do that as well. And as I always say, remember, I don't provide legal advice. All the information that I provide to you, please do your own research. Don't take my word for it. What I did worked for me because I put in the effort and the time to study and understand the laws in my state and to understand who I was dealing with. So with that being said, again, in regards to child support, it's very important that you show up to the hearings, that you pay your child support, because unfortunately this system is jacked up, and if you don't pay, they're going to ruin you. They're going to lock you up, put you in jail, take a driver's license, things like that. And understand that here's the trick that they play with child support is basically if you don't pay child support, they suspend your license. So while you're driving, you wind up driving and get pulled over for driving on a suspended license, which is an arrestable offense. So you get locked up for driving on a suspended license. Then you're locked up for the child support. So now you can't get out until you pay whatever the cash bond is for the child support. So they kind of screwed. It's a setup. It literally is a setup. And if you're driving a car that's in your name, once the plate reader hits your tag, they know it's you. They're going to pull you over. Now, there's a question if that's a constitutional legal search. I personally believe that it's not. Personally, I don't think it is at all. Some courts have held that it is, but I don't think it is at all because they're just scanning your tag randomly. You just happen to randomly drive by, and they scan your tag. But again, that's something else. We get back into it. Get back to child support. But again, just understand that that's how it's gonna work. You don't pay, they suspend your license. You drive on a suspended license, they arrest you for that. They got you in jail for that. Now you get hit with you can't get out until you pay the child support. It's a sick trap, but that's how they do you. So understand that that's how it works. Now again, with the child support, when you go to these hearings and everything, remember again, a pay stub is not, you may believe this, but understand that a pay stub is not a document that speaks for itself. If you take it into court and bring a pay stub, it doesn't really matter. It's not evidence until you tell a judge that yes, this is my pay stub and the information here is accurate and correct. Then yes, they're going to use that as evidence because now you've testified to the fact that it is true and accurate. Now they can use it. But if you simply just bring a pay stub in there and just hand it and don't say anything about it regardless, it really technically can't be used. So what I recommend is know what you get paid and go to court, just make a statement on record for what you get paid. That's what I did, and that's just what they're going to have to accept. Plain and simple. Again, they make requests for documents. They tell you have to bring things, but very rarely do they issue you a subpoena, which compels you to provide specific documents. So there's a lot of privacy laws that go involved in that. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but typically 99.9% of the time they do not issue subpoenas for your pay stubs. So you can just simply go to court at the hearing at that time and testify to what you get paid. And they're going to base your child support off of what you state that you make. So understand that. Now, if she knows you're a chemical engineer and you normally make like $130,000 a year, $160,000 a year, you can't come in there saying I only make $40,000. Nah. Then she gonna have ground. They're gonna try to postpone the hearing. Then they're gonna compel you to bring in documents. But just be realistic when you're quoting your pay, because honestly, pay fluctuates depending on how many hours you work. Your pay could be 1 month you can make $2,500, next month you can make $2,000. It's a big fluctuation and a big difference. So again, I mean, best is take averages of what you make. Is the best way to do it. Because again, I would hate to even use hourly, because again, just all depending on if you're typically an employee that only works 37 hours a week, but they mark you down for 40. Now you're getting beat for an extra 3 hours, which can in turn over the year could be like an extra 70, $80 that could be in your pocket providing for yourself. I'm just saying, these are things you need to understand and think about when you go into court. Okay? And also, when you go into court, if you aren't understanding what's going on, it's best to find a lawyer or to educate yourself. I let everybody know, like I said, I used a program called Jurisdictionary. I just took it for a month. And I mean, for me, fortunately, I had the time. I was able to dedicate my nights after work and understand and focus on Jurisdictionary and get a really good understanding and of just how to research cases, how to understand the process of court, how to understand the discovery process, which is a very big process, which is a portion of your hearing to be discovery, which is documents and paperwork and stuff. These things, this is information and stuff you need to know. So while you're in it, you know what's going on. You're not just looking like a dead in your headlights. When I go into court, everybody in the court knows I know what's going on. Everybody's aware that I can handle myself. Quick little story because it's running over. Or actually, you know what? I'll tell a story in the next video. I'll make it like story time, and I'll tell a quick story about one of my escapades, maybe how I handled myself in North Carolina or something juicy. But just understand again, when dealing with child support, the easiest way to reduce child support, one, is to go to the hearing. Number one reason, let's correct that. Number one way to reduce child support is to be active and involved in your child's life. The more time you spend with your child, the less money you have to kick out in child support. Plain and simple. Next way is make sure if you get hit with those requests for court and hearings and stuff like that, to go. If you don't go, they're going to take advantage of you. At least you got a fighting chance of at least getting something fair or close to what's fair. Because if you don't go, they're just going to give some super random number and they're going to get you. So, again, this isn't legal advice. This is just experience. But this experience lines up with fact. So, again, do me a favor. Make sure you do your own research. Do your own research. But again, YouTube stuff, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.